It's now time for NRG This Week. NRG stands for Network Referral Group. To learn more about NRG, go to their website, nrg.online. It's now time for another episode of NRG This Week.
Hey everybody, Mike Weiner here for NRG This Week. Leon Thomas will not be with me. We're going to introduce Chadwick here in about 2 minutes. I wanted to announce our own TV show. Really excited about that. And if you are around, if you want to jump on my Zoom Friday, April 3rd at 4 p.m. Eastern, my Zoom number is 367-333-9689. 333-9689. You want to hear more about my TV show, which will be airing soon. Excited about that. Been networking for 25 plus years. And you can reach me at 443-756-9656. So our guest today is Chadwick. He's relatively new with NRG. And Chadwick, how are you today?
I'm doing great. This is awesome. I feel like I'm on TV.
You are on TV. It's NRG This Week. Chadwick, I've been doing this for about 3 years with Leon. I gave you a little of the backstory before the meeting. So it's great to have you on. You and I've got to know each other very well. And tell us, I'm going to ask every question. Take about 2-3 minutes. Tell us in a nutshell, 2-3 minutes, about your company. What do you guys do? I find it fascinating. I really have not worked with anyone like you in 25 years plus. So take a couple of minutes and share. And this is live, and we're also recording it. So people could be looking at this in the year 2030. So go ahead and share with us what you guys do. Thank you.
Well, in short, we're an answering service. But unlike the traditional answering service, when most people think of overseas big call centers, lots of people answering for thousands of different clients, and they're very limited in what their capacity that they can do to help customers calling in. There's a lot of negative stereotypes that come with the answering service world. So we're a little different. The way we started was, instead of having big call center, lots of people, lots of clients, we just said, look, we're wanting to cater to the small self-employed or small team business owner who they're big enough they need help, but they're not quite big enough that they can hire their own staff or whatever. But they want that family feel, right? That owner-operator, personal relationship with their customers. And we like the trade services a lot, plumbing, HVAC, electrical, carpet cleaning. We even have a whole long list of chiropractors, massage therapists, and everybody. And again, it doesn't matter necessarily the industry, because everybody who's self-employed gets to a point where they just hit that ceiling when you're like, I'm big enough that I can't do this on my own anymore. And then you start to drop the ball on things. People, you start forgetting to follow up or whatever the case may be. But the first thing out of the gate is they start missing phone calls, which means missing business. So when we come on board, small teams of designated employees or designated agents that only answer for a select number of clients. And they're human, which is a big plus. They're also all based in the United States, which is a huge plus. And they know how to log into the CRMs, how to schedule, route, dispatch. They have a direct communication channel with the clients so that they can ask questions and be able to respond back and forth in real time rather than waiting for emails and days later of responses. So it basically gives them the feeling of having a full-time staff that can do inbound and outbound phone calls for leads and scheduling. We can do text messages, live web chat, Google Business, social media, Facebook, Instagram messages. We can do all kinds of different ways to communicate with customers in any form, whether that's through human or AI, it doesn't matter. Like all different kinds of ways to communicate and manage those. And have that personal relationship still, because they're able to focus on only a select number of clients. They can know everything about those businesses. And so when those callers call in, or when we're texting in, or whatever they're doing, they're talking to the same people, and they're building those relationships, and we're representing that family feel. So we can be so personalized and so customized in our processes and procedures for that particular business that when they get to the job, the customer says, "Hey, your wife was super nice on the phone. Tell her I said hi," right? And that's the level of service we're trying to provide, instead of just the traditional answering service world of, "Hi, how can I help you?" And I, just take a message and pass the info along, kind of thing. So we're trying to get to that next level, help them grow to where they can then hire and expand and scale.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Let me ask you a question, Chad. When kids are 5 years old and you ask them what they want to do when they grow up, firemen, policemen, nurse, baseball player, football player, I'm assuming you didn't know that at 5 years old, you're going to just, what's the backstory? There's always a story. I'm very curious because I have not asked you this through an NRG meeting in our conversations where it's been you and me, but what's the backstory? Is there something that you saw in an organization and you're like, oh my God, I could fix this? Share with us and our viewers the backstory.
Sure. It's a long story, but the short version is I'm the type of guy, and I was always this way from a kid. Since I was 5 years old, I was the type of kid who was rambunctious, mischievous. I was the number two out of four, right? So like I was ignored, and being that middle child, I would take apart the VCR just so I could figure out how it worked, and then wouldn't be able to put it back together, right? So I was like, I was always getting in trouble because I just needed to figure out how to make things, how they worked, and how to make things better, and how to improve. That was just my nature. And so I was a terrible employee ever since I was a teenager. First job is Burger King, and ever since then I was just always a lousy employee because I didn't follow directions very well. I would look at the directions and go, "That's a stupid way to do this. Let's figure out a better way." And I would always make up my own way, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, right? So I get in trouble a lot. But it was just me trying to be better. Fast forward 25 years of being self-employed and starting business after business that failed, or sometimes they did okay, but I got burned out, and then there's just no scalability or whatever the case may be. I got to a point where mid 30s, I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this over and over and over again, right? So I was trying to find some place I could land profession wise that made sense to me. And I'd been through a lot of different construction and trade service related fields. I finally wanted to get into more of a white collar division. I was tired of crawling through attics and underneath houses and things. So I did some studying. I got my life and health license and my 6 and 63 license. And I was going to be on track to be a financial planner. And I was just building a little small financial services business. And it's, I mean, that's a grind in and of itself. Okay. That wasn't the right fit for me. And here's why. Like doing financial planning, okay, I would set together the best insurance and all the other stuff, but they just hated it because they were spending money every month. And so I never got the whole thank you for what you do gratification part of it, right? Until somebody in their family died or retired, and then they would remember, oh yeah, we have this life insurance thing, but they wouldn't remember me at that point, so it was a moot point. So I needed that, like a feeling of purpose, right? And it wasn't doing it for me. But here's a fun story. I was out to lunch with a friend of mine, trying to sell him some life insurance. And he owned a small business, and his phone was ringing off the hook every 3 seconds. Was like, oh, this could be a customer. I got to take this call, right? And after like 45 minutes of just watching him take call after call after call, I'm like, Harry, you got to be like this. I've been paying double for my meal and watching you talk on the phone. At least you owe me a life insurance policy or something, right? Do something for me. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I can't afford to hire my own secretary. And that's the light bulb moment that I had, where it was like, I'm in that same boat. Like there's a lot of us small self-employed business owners who need staff, who need assistant, who need whatever, but we're not in a position where we have the resources to just hire it ourselves. It's too expensive. I don't have an office space. I don't have blah, 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 whatever that may be. And so in that moment, I looked at him and I was like, Harry, like I've got 2 part-time gals that come to my office and do filing and blah, just little stuff, but nobody ever calls me. Like they're just sitting there half the day, staring out the window. Why don't you just forward your calls to my office and teach them how to schedule and whatever they got to do for you? And we'll just split the cost, right? That was the idea. And he's like, that's a great idea. And immediately I went, oh crap, that's a terrible idea. I don't even know if it's legal, first of all. Second of all, I don't know how to do any of that. And what did I just get myself into, right? And I'm putting my foot in my mouth. And I was like, well, I don't know. And he goes, no. If you can figure that out, I'm the first guy that signs up. He's like, I have no interest in doing it with you, but if you can get it figured out, I'm going to sign up because that sounds awesome. Anyway, fast forward a few months of figuring it out, trial and error. We got a couple of guys that wanted to beta test it. And Mike, I tell you, it worked so well. Just to have a couple of gals answering the phones when we couldn't, we tripled our businesses, right? And it was just one of those, holy cow, this is something that needs to be a separate, business. It's not I'm a financial guy and I can offer you 5 different clients. It's just so it was one of those moments of like 3 a.m. you wake up and you're like, uh-oh, I just had a dream and this is going to change. That's when I saw the vision. Service Center was just going to be like a business running machine, and we were going to use it to scale our everything. And then it just took off. It was just one of those things. Right place at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've said so much right in there. I'm going to try to, a couple things caught my attention. I'm having trouble wrapping my heads around seeing you at 5 ripping the VCR apart. And that people today don't even know what the VCR is. It's like an 8-track player or a fax machine. Chadwick, I sold fax machines when they were thermal and then plain paper and then eventually copiers and got out of the industry. But you and I share a couple of commonality, not being a really good employee. I'd work harder than the employer. And it sounds like you did that and you tried to reinvent the wheel and they didn't want to hear that because they were in charge, right? So we developed this rebellious streak and it's like, I'll do it myself. And you've been doing your thing. I've been doing my thing. We got together now. You did some research, found NRG, and we met. So the thing about I can't afford to do it, it reminded me, it's like you can't afford not to do it because you're losing money. You can't afford to pay, but you got money going out the back door. There's so many things you just said that are learning, and I'm trying to remember all of them. I took a few notes, but that whole I can't afford to is crazy because now you're going in there and saving companies money and they're not losing lost opportunities by phone calls of potential business. So I love that. We're going to do 2 more questions and we're going to take a commercial break. I want you, without mentioning obviously their name, give us a client testimonial, someone that came back to you. Norman just did one for me for NRG, but one for you that they said, because we worked with your company, we picked up 60% more revenue, $100,000. Give us an example because there's folks out there, Chadwick, that they're watching it now or they're seeing it in the future, and maybe there are robots instead of people. I was going to kid you with that when you said humans. I thought of robots all of a sudden, but give us a client testimonial and how you were able to help benefit one of your clients.
Sure. There's a lot. We've been in business about 8 years now, so there's several clients that I've seen start from the ground up, go all the way to success, sell their business and more. One of my favorites, again, I won't mention names. First name is Glenn, but over in like Sioux Falls area, carpet cleaning business. And carpet cleaning is one of those tough ones. You got to really pound the pavement to get the business going, So when he signed up, he was getting calls, but it's a seasonal thing. Anyway, long story short, just in the first few months, seeing the stress taken off his shoulders from now we're not missing any phone calls, we're scheduling appointments. And instead of saying, well, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, now he's booked out for 3 weeks, right? And we're doing all the follow-ups and the spring stuff and the specials and the promos, and we're making them things happen, right? And he's been with us, or he was with us for nearly 5 years, and got to a point where he's like, I can sell my business because it's now. At first, when you're self-employed and you're running a business, you're not very scalable because you're in your own way, right? You have to be able to hand it off to the processes, the procedures, whatever. And so that's what kind of we did for him was. He didn't see how he was ever going to retire. He was going to work till he died. That was his plan. But we put into place a lot of his processes and procedures, and he was able to delegate. And eventually, his business was worth something to somebody else. And then he got to a point where that somebody else wanted to work with him, and then eventually take over. And he sold it, and now he's doing great. So we've seen a lot of those like success stories. We've also seen other guys that use us to run their hub, and then they just go off and start businesses on the side and get those profitable and sell them off. So there's a lot of those success stories too. Just having that little cog in the wheel to put that middleman in that process allows you to step out and work on and focus on those things that they wanted to do in the business, the reasons they got into business in the first place, right? Um, that's been the best part for us. I have lots of success stories I could share, but not enough time.
That's a great. You know what? You said something really cool. I wrote down seeing the stress come off his shoulders. That had to give you so much satisfaction. Just being able to
Oh
know that
yeah.
you helped them, because stress kills, and it causes illness. And I'm sure that made you feel phenomenal.
Well, it's just like when I was saying as a financial planner guy, right? Like I never got that instant gratification. All I ever got was a phone call once a month, like, "Hey, what's this bill for? Why am I keep paying for this and I have to resell it every month?" With this now, it's like we'll sign somebody up, and then 3 weeks later, I'll get a DM in Slack, and they'll say, "Dude, I don't know how I ever lived without you guys. I'm able to go home at night at 6 o'clock, and I don't have 80 people to try to call back and get voicemail jail and blah blah blah." Like they just go home and spend time with their family, right? So they're immediately going, this is a life changer. This is a game changer. Now I can scale, I can grow. I'm spending time with my family. I'm remembering why I got into business in the first place. I'm loving my life
Yeah,
again, right? All of these things. It really is. When it's a right fit, it's a great fit.
cool, cool. Nah, I love what you're saying. One more question, then we're going to take a break.
Hmm.
NRG. I know you tasked one of your employees to take a look, see what else is out there. He found NRG. He brought it back to you. You and I met. You joined. Take us through it. You know, there's a lot of folks out there, and I'm finding more and more they're in other groups that are not productive. They're not effective. And then there's people that don't even know what networking is. So take a couple of minutes, talk about your experience with NRG. And you've given me, you and I've had some one-on-ones where it's been, I love it. It's like CEO to CEO, and you're a little bit younger than me, so you're into all the AI and all that great stuff. I'm catching up, but take a couple of minutes for our viewing audience and share your experience with NRG.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I came from the world of other networking groups, many of them, like local, usually in person. And I was used to the what I call forced accountability, where you have to show up, you have to bring visitors, you have to provide referrals, right? Otherwise, you lose points or whatever the accountability part is, right, for metrics. And I understand the reason behind that. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying it's not a right fit for everybody. Not every networking group, including NRG, is right for every single business out there, right? It wasn't the right fit for me. So what I was looking for was more of the voluntary accountability, and by that I mean somebody who I could be a referral partner with, for example, and they wanted to be there. In fact, they were looking forward to coming to the meeting because they knew that they had talked to somebody that they were going to refer me, and they were bringing that information to the meeting specifically to refer me. And even beyond that, what I didn't realize I didn't have was a close relationship with particular referral partners that I could call once a week and say, "Hey, here's the 5 people I met with last week that I'm going to send your way. Who did you meet with that you're going to send my way?" Right? And then have even just a more of a, I wouldn't call it a voluntary accountability, an implied accountability, if you will, where that's the level we get to of referrals. And it's again back to quality of referral, not quantity. When you have forced accountability or when you have forced metrics tracking, forced whatever, again, it's not wrong. It's just you tend to get a few people who don't, lose sight of the quality. And I was frequently getting a lot of referrals in the past before I joined NRG that were the equivalent of, "Hey, I was walking through a parking lot and I saw this guy's door was unlocked in his car, so I cracked it open and slipped your card underneath his floor mat. So next time they vacuum, I'm sure they're going to call you and sign up for whatever, right?" Like, thanks for the referral. No thanks. But so I was getting a lot of those lower quality, high quantity referrals and just wasting my time, wasting all of everybody's time. So when I looked at NRG, at first I was like, okay, great, another networking group, right? We've got 20 of them that we're going, might as well look at it, whatever. So I sent my sales guy here, and he came back and gave me a report that I was like, really, a little different. Like, there's no rules, there's no forced accountability, and people. The thing that caught his attention, obviously, that caught my attention was, you're told you're going to get 3 referrals today and 30 once you sign up. I'm like, 30 who can guarantee 30 referrals without knowing my business and knowing me and trusting me and liking me? And then it's like, okay, no, it's not a I'm going to find 30 people that are going to sign up for your service or that you can sell your product, whatever. It's like 30 people who are genuinely interested in developing a connection with you and either referring business to you, signing up for business with you, or being a good referral partner in the future, kind of thing, right? So those are the types of people I was looking for to build my network, without even realizing it part of the way or part of the time. And so after I come in and joined NRG, got the referrals, I was really skeptical at first, I'm not going to lie, but the quality of the referrals, even just sitting in those meetings, right, getting a name, phone number, even just that. When I call those people, they're oh yeah, I know Mike, I know him. He told me you'd be calling, right? You got the text message, all of that. Like, it's totally different. I'd say, level 4, level 5 referral, to the point now where I've developed relationships, referral partnerships, and other within NRG that we've started whole other side businesses together that are going to be, revenue generating machines and all kinds of cool ideas, people that I can brainstorm with and bounce ideas off of, and that I can partner with in business, both referral partners and actual, working together in joint ventures together with. So really cool stuff. Totally different experience than anywhere I've been, been in the past. Again, much better fit for my business because we service nationwide, Canada, all over the place. So it just makes sense for me to be able to network with people all over the country versus just in my local area. But again, that's different for everybody, but highly recommend it. Definitely, hands down.
You can go for another 35 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. That was awesome, Chuck. I appreciate that. And I love some of your voluntary accountability. Some of these words, I've not heard them put together like that. So I love your answer, your reply, and your whole testimonial. So I appreciate that. So we are going to take a commercial break. On the flip side of that, we will have a couple more questions for Chadwick, and we're going to find out his favorite football team. So we will be right back after this commercial break.
At Rod's Car Repairs, we work on all cars, old cars, new cars, and your car. Car Repairs by Rod.io.
Baked by Brianna has been your Baltimore hometown bakery since 1969. Located in Roxton Plaza, Baked by Brianna. Visit bakedbybrianna.io.
From the creative team that brought you The Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What would we do without it?
I'm Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group. Podcast, virtual events, webinars, streaming shows, and so much more. We want to be your partner in all things virtual.
Hey, everybody. Mike Weiner back, NRG This Week. Having a great conversation today with Chadwick, one of our newest members from NRG. If you want to reach out to me to come to one of our meetings, 443 756-9656. You can also reach me at email. It's mike@networkreferralgroup.com, and it's right on the screen there. And the website is nrg.online. I am now in my 26th year. We got some exciting news. I'm going to be in my own TV show. I'm super excited about it. There's a lot more details, but for right now, we're going to go back to our amazing interview. Chadwick, going to bring you back out. I always say Studio 54, which was big back in the 70s, before your time, Chadwick, but I was a big disco guy. Into disco, still love disco music and try to keep it alive. So really enjoying our conversation. Let me ask you a question. What have I not asked you that you'd like to take 2-3 minutes and talk about? I always ask that question because there's probably something. Maybe it's about your business, maybe it's about you personally. Could be about your cute son, who is our youngest member on NRG. But take 2-3 minutes, talk about something that I have not asked you about.
Sure. My big thing for us in our culture, our business, and everything is our why. A lot of times I like to just share our story about our why, because part of my why is right here. Actually, you just mentioned him. Hello, baby Jack. This is my little buddy, and he's
Jack.
part of my why. When we started this business, obviously we wanted to help other business owners get past that ceiling that I'd been, experiencing since I was employed for so many years. And it kind of grew into just something more than just, by the way, look at this. You gotta appreciate the branding here too. So it just turned into more than just helping. We started seeing them kind of rediscover their why, if that makes sense. Because most people, when they get into business, for example, a plumber, electrician, doesn't matter, they usually work in that trade for a long time and get really, really good. And then eventually somebody says, hey, you're good at what you do. You should start your own business. And they go, yeah, I should, right? And then they get 6 months into it or a year into it, and they get to that point where they're like, I didn't want to do all this admin work and all this follow-up work and all the sales and the marketing and all the stuff. Like, they just don't tell you that you have to do, and the taxes and the insurance and everything, right? Hey, and at this point, I've got teenage boys at home, right? And so they're, the part of the why for me was to build a business and leave a legacy and give them a easier childhood than I had, and all those things that everybody always wishes when they were in the mid-30s and they're going through a midlife crisis kind of thing, like I did. But when you get to the point where, like, when I hit 40, I realized that would be a huge disservice to my kids to just give them all the success and just, here you go, have it, because they would ruin it. It would ruin them. It would, And so I instead, my why now is to instill in my children the same work ethic that I don't see in a lot of, I would say, younger generations these days. Times have been pretty easy. We've been able to, see some really cool stuff with advancements of technology and medicine and all kinds of things to make life more convenient for all of us, which is great, except for when we take advantage of the sacrifices that were made to get us to this point, if that makes sense. So I just want to instill in them a better work ethic so that they can appreciate what it's like to have to sacrifice, to have to struggle, to have to overcome challenges like I did in order to build a successful business. There were many times I wanted to throw in the towel, many times that I thought I was going to be done, that we were going to quit, through all kinds of challenges, and just being able to overcome every single time for me made me who I am as a man. And I can't, in good faith, teach that to my kids. They have to go through that, right? So it's really changed the way that I've raised my teenage boys, as well as with our little miracle blessing here, baby Jack. We've got another opportunity to contribute to the world and teach somebody to be a leader and to rise up to, run the next generation and to be one of the, examples to follow. At the same time, all of our clients, I get to see them find their why, spend time with their family, get back into the whole, this is why I got into business for. I was a good plumber and I liked to help people, right? And they get to go do that again, and they can focus on just building those relationships. And that, again, is part of my why, is when I get to hear them come back and say, you know what? I don't know how I ever did this without you guys. It's changed my life. It's changed my business. It's everything that they can say, all the good things. That's my why. And
That's awesome.
me
You know,
going,
and so many people and so many companies don't have a why. They don't have their, and you're right. And I don't even know. I agree with you with the younger generation, but sometimes I see it in my generation. It's almost across society. They're watching people that are so successful in like sports where they're making hundreds of millions of dollars. And
yeah,
you know what? I always say I'm the Cal Ripken of networking, Chad. Where Cal played for the Orioles for 18 years, and I've been doing this. It's consistent. It's persistent. You got to show up each day. Even if I've run meetings when I've had COVID twice, you know what? And you just got to go and do it and lead by example. And your employees, or for me, it's my members, they watch everything you do. And you don't need to edify yourself. They watch what you do and they emulate what you're doing. So I was really, that question wound up being for you more leadership. And I love that. All right. We got one more question. And I'm almost afraid to ask you because I already know the answer. And our producer is a Steelers fan. Who's your favorite football team? We're going to talk football for a minute.
okay. I'm a Steelers fan. Yeah, I am. Have been for a long, long time. I don't even know why at this point. Ever since I was a little kid, there's some deep psychological reason, I'm sure, but I just don't remember ever having a different favorite team. It's always been the Steelers. I used to like Green Bay a little bit, but like it was just always the Steelers. And I know you're a Ravens fan, Mike. So I was telling you earlier, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with being a Ravens fan. They're my third favorite team, in fact, right? And for everybody else, like, obviously Steelers number one, Ravens number three, everyone else tied for second. That's what I.
Oh my Lord! So you got the Ravens last. So who do you think's going to win the AFC North this year? Steelers, Ravens, Bengals. No way the Browns. But what about any of those?
Something though. They should just to prove you wrong. No, I'm hoping Steelers take it, but that's a long shot. We'll see.
I've got one gripe. I don't know if you know who this Raven is. Keaton Mitchell. He's a running back for the Ravens. He's got phenomenal speed, and for some reason they let him go. And the time when they were drafting trading with the Raiders for Crosby, and that thing fell apart, and then they got Hendrickson right from the Bengals. But during that time, like 8 or 9 of them left. Harbaugh went to the Giants. He's taken quite a few players with him. Isaiah Likely. We had a kicker, Jordan, I think Stout, who was kicking 50, 60-yard kicks, punts.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that. So it's going to be interesting. Right now I can't predict the Ravens winning the I hate to say it. I think your Steelers are going to win it, the division, and then the Ravens. Ravens have got to do some stuff in the draft. The draft is, what, mid-April? April 20th? Somewhere around there.
Yeah,
so we got baseball season now close, so we will see what my Orioles did. I forgot what it's called, the World Baseball. Gunnar Henderson for the Orioles has been crushing it, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, Chadwick, it was great having you on today. I look forward to seeing you at NRG meetings. I love what you're doing. You remind me of me. Maybe that's why I like you so much. Your hard work ethic, conscientious. My boys are a little bit older; they're in their 20s now. Jack is a cutie pie. I keep thinking of Jack Bauer. You know who that is? On 24.
Isn't that yeah on 24?
That was probably one of my favorite shows because it was like a split screen, and I get bored quick. If I sit down now and watch TV after run all these Zooms, I fall asleep. So, Chadwick, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to give my kind of final thoughts, but great having you on today. Appreciate your time. And for those, definitely, Chadwick, go ahead and say your, I don't know if Jay got all your information, but go ahead and state your email, your website, and your cell number. And we'll see if Jay can grab that on there. If not, people can reach out to me, and I'll be happy to connect you. But go ahead and state that info, and then I'll wrap us up.
You bet. ServiceCenterPro.com is our website, and there's links on there to schedule appointments and everything for me too. You can call me direct at 208-269-1952, or you can call us on our general line 208-315-6500. My email is just chadwick@servicecenterpro.com.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate you being on, Chadwick. I will see you probably in 25 minutes in Atlanta if you're going to be there. So look forward to seeing you and Jack there. So I'm going to wrap this up now. I did want to mention Leon Thomas has a racquetballrevival.com. He works with kids from young kids well into their 50s, 60s, 70s. There it is on the screen. Leon is amazing. He videoed my wedding anniversary is today. 5 months married to Tanya. Super happy there. But for NRG, definitely reach out to me. I would love to work with you. We've got the TV show that's coming, and my cell number, that's really the best place to reach me. It's 443-756-9656. I'm going to sign off. It was great being here. Leon, hopefully I'll have you back next week, buddy. I missed you. And for everybody out there, have a great week. Go make it happen. Lead by example. Have a great week. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week on NRG This Week.